Hey everyone, Louise here. Thank you for joining me. In this session, we're just going to be going through a classic Surya Namaskara, so a classic Sun Salutation. I'm going to be breaking it down step by step, so you'll see exactly where you need to be and how your placement should be, how it should feel in each of the steps, and then we'll start to string it together. So hopefully by the end of the video, you'll feel quite confident just to run through the classic Surya Namaskara. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I'm going to turn and face you to begin with, but if you do have a mat, you just want to really be at the top edge of your mat. So, as I said, I'm going to just start facing this way just so you can see me. Now, standing in Tadasana to begin with. So, Tadasana is your mountain pose. Really starts, we can get grounded, we can feel the earth beneath our feet. And in order for us to grow, we need to feel grounded. So pressing down, spread your toes out. You can bend your knees a little bit so you feel the weight just starting to move down into the feet. And then from there, we need to feel as if we're pulling up on those thigh muscles. Feel as if the legs are pulling in towards each other. So we make this connection here. We pull up through the midline of the body. So we engage the Mula Bandha. So the Mula Bandha is your first lock in the body. So we start to feel as if we're zipping up. So legs are nice and strong. Our tailbone is tucking under. So we're keeping a nice straight line as we lift up, but still keeping the natural curve in your spine. So we keep that lifting, we keep the pulling up and drawing up. So we feel then into the solar plexus. We feel nice and snug, pulling in. Chest is nice and open, so your shoulders are rolled back. We extend through the neck and really feel as if you're maybe pulling up through the back of the neck. And then the crown of the head ascending towards the sky or towards the sun. And with your shoulders, just get them, roll them back and let the inner arms and the palms just face forward slightly, just so we're feeling nice and open. If you were lying down on the floor, you would feel just, if you imagine that you were sunbathing, just lying there, taking it all in. So pressing down, pulling up, drawing up. So we have our first position here in Tadasana. So we can just close our eyes, just take for a moment, just focus just on your breathing. Focus on how you actually feel in this pose. It may feel a little bit showy. It may feel as if you're kind of putting everything out there. So we spend a lot of our time during the day where we just tend to come forward, or even if we've just jumped out of bed, we tend to be forward and shoulders rounded, and we close off in our heart center. So when we're closing off in our heart center, we start to feel that inward feeling. We start to feel depressed. The lungs don't work as much. So we really need to get that open feeling and be proud and take up your space. So here we are in Tadasana, just opening the eyes again. Now, keeping this position and just let the hands come in towards the heart center. So my thumbs are just pressing in towards the breastbone and the breastbone just pulling up towards the thumbs. My hands are just lightly touching together. And here we feel a balance on the right and left sides of the body. We're just having a small space just in between the palms of the hands, just as if you're holding on to something precious. Now, keeping that lift there. So this is Samastiti. We're standing, feeling proud, and here we can start to set an upward feeling and a positive affirmation. An affirmation. So you're taking up your place, like I am strong, I am stable, I am willing, I am able. So allowing that affirmation then to carry you through your practice. Now, also as well, we can set an intention. So if you're doing this every day, it's really good to have an intention, a place of purpose for what you're doing. So if you think of an end destination, if you think of a goal or an aim, maybe to have a stronger, healthier body, your intention is working towards that. So it's not the actual goal itself. An intention is your purpose and the reason why you're doing it to be able to get there. So we have now set our intention. And then from here, we're just going to drop the hands down. We're going to inhale as we take the arms up over the head. And we're looking up towards the hands. Let's step back a little bit so you can see me. So hands are reaching up. We're looking up, reaching those hands right up. So we're in Urdhva Hastasana, hands together. Really get a lengthening through the spine. Again, feel completely grounded by pushing the feet down. Work those thighs, pulling up, tailbone tucking under, zipping up to the front of the body. And then just bring the hands back down again, just for a moment. Okay, so we get the feel and the essence for the pose. We feel when we're rooted down that then when we take the arms up, it's not just the arm itself moving. We feel as if the drawing is up from the ground as we take the arm right up. Okay, so from there, we're going to move on. I'm going to turn now, so I'm sideways onto you. So you want to be near the top edge of your mat, if you have a mat, or if you have a towel on the floor. Or if you're not on either, make sure you've got a little bit of space behind you. So feet firmly rooted down, spread out all of your toes. Keep that tailbone tucking under as you pull up on your thighs, rolling your shoulders back, keeping the chest lifted, and your hands are just turned out slightly. So we're here in Tadasana. Bring your hands together, so in towards the heart center, and we're here at Samasthiti. You've set your intention, you have your affirmation, which is also helping to carry you through your practice. We then drop the hands down as we exhale. We inhale, taking the arms up over the head. So again, feel the strong rooting down as you rise up, looking up towards the hands in Urdhva Hastasana. Now here we're going to take the arms out wide, and we're going to hinge right at the hips and swan dive, coming down towards the floor. Now here you can just bend your knees as much as you need to get the hands making that connection down onto the floor. So you can see mine are quite bent at the moment, and in time you maybe find that you can straighten out your legs a little bit more. Now we're going to come up, so this starts to really get a nice long stretch on the back of the body. Just be mindful, if your back is a little bit weaker, you might want to bend the legs. Now from here we're going to start, so this is Uttanasana. We're going to bring it forward into Ardha Uttanasana, so half Uttanasana. So then we can press the hands into the shins or on the thighs, and we lengthen the heart center forward as much as we can, bringing your chest forward. So here again, we're going to get the length along the backs of the legs. We start to extend a little bit more through the back of the body, but also it's heart awakening pose. And then we can just drop the head back down. Again, you might want to bend your knees. Place your hands down to the floor. From here, take your right leg a big stride back. Now we keep the knee lined up directly on the ankle bone. Now we're going to bring the knee down to the floor. So that's the right knee down. I'm just going to relax the foot. Now when the foot goes down onto the floor, I'm pressing the top of my foot down, and I'm pressing my shin down into the floor. The front leg, the foot is connected obviously to the floor, but I want to feel as if I'm pulling up away from it. So we feel our connection with the ground, but then we pull up, we lift up. From here, placing your hands onto your hips. Now, we're placing them onto the hips. You're going to dig in, squeeze down, and just push. Now, when you push, you feel like a resistance point. So you can feel the pushing down from the floor. Legs are pulling up, hands are pushing down. So the pull is against the push of the hands. And also from there, we can start to lift up and extend a little bit more through the front of the body. From here, once the hips are level, then we can take the arms up. So we come up into Anjali Asana. So our hands are together, and we're lengthening up as much as we can. Again, we get that nice open feeling across the heart center. We'll feel it a little bit more in the shoulders. And then from here, bring the hands back down again towards your hips or your pelvis. Again, squeeze in, press down. Now, on the leg which is forward, that hip will want to slide forward a little bit. So making sure that when the hands are pushing down, that you're level across your pelvis. Okay? Then bring your hands down to the floor. From here, you're going to be straightening out in the back leg. We'll get the leg as strong as we can, pushing through the back of the thigh. And the front leg comes back to join it. Now, if that isn't working for some of you, then you can just bring the leg back to here and then straighten out with the legs. Now, in this pose, Plankasana, we want to make sure that we're pushing strongly through the legs. Let the legs do most of the work. So they're pushing back nice and strong, pushing through the back of the thighs. And the hands are glued to the floor, but we want to feel as if we're lifting up. Otherwise, it'll feel heavy. We'll sink down. That'll be a bit of a nightmare. So push up, pull up through the back of the body. Squeeze back through your belly a little bit, pull back a little, squeezing into your buttock muscles. Okay, so from here, we're going to be knees down. So the knees down, can keep the toes tucked for a moment while we control it. And you want to feel here, when we come down to the floor, what's responsible is the shoulder girdle needs to be in the right place, but we need to make sure that we feel the lower part of your shoulder blade and serratus anterior muscle are hugging in towards the body. So let me show you at this angle. So if I take my arm up, you can see, now if I take it up and I'm wrapping that in, so this, if I had my arm there, it would be a little bit weaker here. So as I take my arm up, I want to feel here, this bit pulling round, wrapping in. And you see how I can then straighten out with my arm a little bit more? And it makes it a lot stronger, okay? So this muscle needs to work and it needs to pull in. So we'll go back to here again. So we feel it pulling in, and we can almost feel that by feeling as if you're pulling the elbows in towards each other. But don't make it just about your elbows. Again, keep it here. From here, we come down, chin and chest, down to the floor. Your bottom is up in the air. I'm going to slide forward, and my legs are stretching back as much as they can. And I come up just a little way using the muscles in my back. So it's the rectus spinae muscles, which are working to lift the top part of my back up. I'm not really pressing down into my hands, bit of a tricky one to talk into and to do. So I'm lifting up as much as I can, then my hands are going to go back down. Okay, from here, you can rest down a little bit, push back to your knees, tuck your toes, and then lifting up. So we're here in Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Now in Ardha Mukha Svanasana, you want to have the feet about hip distance apart. Spread your toes out, spread your hands out as much as you can. Again, get this feeling of rolling out here. This is going to give you space across from shoulder to shoulder. So we're drawing up on the legs. Now, if this happens, then you want to bend your knees, push back more to get the spine straight, and then you can always work on straightening the legs out. Don't worry so much if your heels are to the floor. It's perfectly fine. You want to be feeling the stretch along the back of the body, front, back and sides of the body, and the legs. Not jutting the rib cage down, so just make sure your rib cage is housed evenly in your skin as you move back. Okay, so we've come back to, we're back in our Ardha Mukha Svanasana. We're going to lift up with the right leg. So we need to make sure that the balance is right on both hands and onto that standing leg. So when that leg is lifted, make sure that you're pulling right up to the top of that leg as you're straightening out with the back leg. Now look forward. You're going to bend the leg in, let the weight come forward, and rounding out a little bit in my back, and then placing that foot forward. Okay, so if that's not working, if you're here and you get to there, grab it. Okay, but at some point, you want to be able, so you're stretching out, you're squeezing in, you're looking forward, and the foot comes through. Place your back knee down, so you can relax that foot again, press it down into the floor, feel the shin pressing down, front foot pressing down. We come up, pressing into the hips again, press down, lifting up through the chest. You'll feel a nice stretch out through that back leg here. Take the arms up again, so up into Anjali Asana. And then bring back down to the hips. Bring your hands down to the floor. Straighten out in your back leg. Now the front leg needs to take the weight. So we're going to start just to transfer the weight. So as you come forward, you're relying on this leg. So again, foot is to the floor, but feel as if you're pulling up. So there's no pressure onto the knee. So as we come forward, we lift, bring it in. Head forward and then back down. And then we take the arms wide, really root down, rising up, taking up your space, and then drawing your hands in towards your heart center. And you're back to where you started. Okay, so we're going to flow through it a little bit more smoother now, just on the other side, just taking the other leg back. So the leg which you have forward when you're bending, the back leg will feel the stretch. Okay, so don't think it's all just about that front leg. Our strength is always what we've left behind. So when we're pushing back, if you're heading in one direction, wherever you've worked from, use that strength to help bring you through. So let's just do the other side. So Interdasana to begin with, bringing your hands in. So this is where you think about your intention or your affirmation, which is helping carrying you through your practice. Drop the hands down. Inhale as you take the arms up. Exhale as we go wide, coming down. Inhale up to halfway. Exhale as we go back down. We're going to take our left leg back, bringing the knee down. Then we can start to bring the hands onto the hips. So pressing down. Inhale as you take your arms up, reaching up towards the sun. And then the hands coming back down again. And hands down to the floor. Straighten out in your back leg. Front leg back to join it so you're in your Plankasana. Knees come down to the floor. We can then start to lower down and we're squeezing in with the serratus anterior muscle. We slide through, taking a little lift, pressing the feet down, making sure that we are using the muscles in the back. Then all the way back down, come up, hands and knees, tuck your toes and lifting up. So we're here in Ardha Mukha Svanasana. You step your feet in just a little bit if you want to, if it feels too far back. Again, make sure that you're not rounding out in the top part of the back. Make sure that you can get that chest heading back towards the legs. So remember, bend your knees as much as you need to make the back straighter. You can always just work on the legs a little bit later. Then to come forward. So we're going to be taking that right leg up. Make sure that the weight is even on the hands and even on that back leg. Look forward to the top edge of your mat. And then coming in, squeezing into the belly, rounding in the shoulders. Place your foot down. Place the knee down. Okay, so we're back to here again. We're going to push in, just onto your hips, pushing down, lifting up, then raising the arms up. Bringing your hands back down. Hands down to the floor. Straighten out in the back leg. Remember, we're going to start just to bring that weight forward. Feel as if this leg is pulling up as we bring that leg in. We're lengthening forward and then exhale down. Take your arms wide. So really own your space as you come up, placing the hands together and then drawing the hands in. Taking a few breaths. Okay, so we've worked through it quite slowly. We've taken it so we know where we need to be with the poses. So if you wanted to run all the way straight through it, I've gone a few minutes in. So what you'll need to do, if you keep coming back to this video, jump past this bit and we'll start just to run through. So we're going to run through one on each side, okay? So feet are together. And Interdasana. Bring the hands in, Samasthiti. Drop the hands down. Inhale, taking the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, come forward, Uttanasana. Inhale as you come forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale as we go back down, taking our right leg back, placing the knee down, hands onto the hips. So we can start to inhale as we bring the arms up over the head. Exhale, hands back down to the hips, down to the floor, straightening out in your back leg, front leg back. Knees down, chin and chest coming down. Slide through, taking a little lift. Maybe inhaling because we're opening up through the heart center. Exhale back down. Back to your knees and all the way back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, your downward facing dog pose. Take a breath or two here. Then with your right leg, take that leg up in the air. Look forward as that leg comes up. Then squeezing that leg in, up between the hands. Back knee going down. That's it. And then we can place the hands back onto the hips, get that lift. Inhaling, taking your arms up, back into the Interdasana. And then hands back onto the hips again. Hands come down to the floor, straighten out in that back leg. Step it forward, looking forward, extending even more. Exhaling, folding in. Inhale, opening up, bringing the hands right up, and then drawing the hands in. Okay, just take a couple of breaths there, just allow the fizzing just to settle. Okay, ready for the other side. So dropping the hands down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, up to halfway. Exhale, back down. Left leg, big stride back. Bring your knee down. Relax the foot, hands come to the hips. Pressing down and then taking the arms up over the head. Bring your hands back down onto the hips. Hands come down to the floor. Straightening out in that back leg. Take the front leg back to join it. From here, bring your knees down. Bring your chin and chest down to the floor. Sliding forward. Take a little lift. Check that you're not just using the hands. Bring it all the way back down. Tuck your toes, come back to the knees, and then all the way up and back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take a couple of breaths here. So with the head down, it's going to be soothing, calming, just for the mind, soothing and calming for the heart as well. Okay, take your left leg up in the air. And then look forward, start to transfer the weight. Bring that leg through. Placing your right knee down to the floor. Again, hands come to the hips, pressing in. Take the arms up over the head. Bring your hands back down onto your hips, pressing down, and then hands come down to the floor. Straightening out in the back leg. And then stepping forward as you look forward. And then back down. Then opening up, really root down, rise up, bringing the hands up over the head, and then drawing the hands in towards the center. Few breaths there. Again, think about your intention. Think about your affirmation, your positive affirmation. And then releasing the hands down. Okay, so well done if you followed along with me on that one. So Surya Namaskara, that's your basic, your classic Sun Salutation that you've just done there. So keep going with it. It's a brilliant one to do because it really brings in everything. We really open up everywhere. The shoulders feel great. Your legs will feel really well stretched out. You'll feel stronger in your core as well. So keep going with that. Once you have that, and once you have the basis of that Sun Salutation, then when you're doing the others, you'll find that you easy start just to transition into some others. Okay, I'm not going to give you any instructions. I'm just going to run through another one, just to show you just where you can also go with it, okay? Okay, so I'm going to just talk through that one really quickly, just as we go. Again, if you feel it feels a little bit much, then go back, keep going back to the others, all right? So my hands are in, dropping my hands down. Inhale, arms are up. Exhale, I go wide and come down to the floor. Inhale, I'm up to halfway again. And exhale back down. I'm going to be taking my left leg back now and then my right straight into my Plank-asana. I come down into a pose. You can always put knees, chin and chest here and then through into a pose called Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. I pull back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. I take a couple of breaths. I look forward towards the top edge of my mat. I'm drawing back through my belly, bending my legs, and then a jump forward. Looking forward, back down, root down, rise up, and then the hands are in. Okay, so there's always things that we can do. There's always more things and more things that we can add on to it. So see how you go with those. Stick with your classic one. Make sure that you're good in that. Make sure that you feel fine in it before even attempting anything else. But it just gives you, with the second one that we just put on there, it just gives you a little bit of an idea of where we could go with it next. Okay, so have fun, everyone.